cost of living relief, we're told, will be front and centre in tomorrow night's federal budget as the price of petrol and groceries continue to climb. It comes as a new survey from the public affairs firm SEC Newgate found reducing household bills and other essential expenses is the #1 concern among voters. For more on this, let's bring in Erin Molan for Word on the Street. Well, Erin, there's been a conga line of economists out today saying cutting things like petrol excise is bad economics, but I reckon ordinary people will take a different view, don't you?
Oh, look, I think so. I think you're absolutely right, Peter. And everyday Aussies that we are speaking to don't particularly care right now whether something is good or bad, according to economists. People are not just wanting relief, they are desperate for it. People are seriously doing it so tough. They are struggling to make ends meet every single day. And Aussies are aware of national debt. They care about it. They're inherently good people. They don't want to leave it to their kids and to their grandkids. But at the moment, the feedback that we are getting is that they don't feel they have a choice in being generous or not wanting relief right now, which is what everyone we spoke to on the street today basically had to say.
Oh, I would love to, as someone who travels a lot by car, definitely. Yeah, if they could impact the prices just even a little bit, it would be really helpful.
I'm sure we've got the right people in the government, but just you can't cut everything, right? You've got to balance it.
Of course, I've got a family of 4. We can't go out anywhere. We have to stay at home because fuel's a major factor to go out like on a day out.
Definitely too high now. It's crazy because every week costs me $100 now. It's too high, too expensive now.
Yeah, it is ridiculous. And I guess the theory of modern economics, as you'd know, is that in order to benefit all must act in self-interest. So.
And the interesting thing is there'll be critics when this is announced. We don't know what the quantum will be, but there'll be critics absolutely who'll say, oh, look, it's $10 a tank, it's not meaningful, etc. But damned if you do, damned if you don't. If the Morrison government doesn't do something about this issue, those same critics will be there on Wednesday saying that there needed to be a signal in the budget that the government was listening. That's the difficulty for the PM and for the Treasurer, isn't it? They've got to be seen to have taken this on board and to be listening to where people are at.
Absolutely, and it's look, I wouldn't want the job. It's a tough balance for them, and they've got to balance, you know, looking after people who want relief and looking after people who care more about, I guess, minimising debt and that side of things. But you know, you talk about $10 a week, and if you're on an above-average salary or if you're fairly secure, then that sounds really like nothing. But for a lot of Australians, that is a huge amount of money. And we get calls into Breakfast Radio every day. We hit the streets every week on this show. People aren't just saying that things are a little bit hard right now. People are saying that they are struggling to make ends meet. People who normally feel quite comfortable and pretty solid in their budget say that they are genuinely, seriously struggling and don't know how to make ends meet. So absolutely the government needs to listen, and tomorrow night will be a real test for them. Of course there'll be criticism. It doesn't matter what they do, they will be criticised. Will it be enough to potentially sway things in their favour ahead of the election? I mean, they can have the best budget in the world, but if they don't sell it properly and if they don't explain to everyday Australians what their record actually means or what the measures that they announce tomorrow night actually mean and how they'll actually impact everyday Australians in their lives as opposed to kind of political talk, then it won't make any difference at all.
Hey, just a quick one before we go. Your dad must be pretty chuffed to be in a winnable position. Tough at 3, but very winnable position, particularly, you know, these world events is not the time to dump someone with his military experience.
Absolutely, and clearly very biased, but even if I was not his daughter, there is no one more that I would want to be in a position where the government can lean into him and his experience. His way of viewing the world is incredible, and it's based on real lived experience in war zones, and that is exactly the kind of Australian that we need right now.
Here, I'm not his daughter either, and I tell you, I completely agree with all of that. He makes me sleep well at night knowing that Jim Molan is close to the centre here in Canberra. Thank you, Erin. Thank you. See you next week.